making the most of a mentoring session, a coaching session, a teaching session, with anybody for that matter, but especially with this. Here's what I've learned from having mentors in my life. And my current mentor, I've known her since late 1999. So if you want to maximize the value of that person and of your time and of your money, then you can treat this stuff like gold and really excel. So being aware of your hands, noticing where your pelvic floor is. Check in with your body. Hello body. Feel your feet. Notice the space. Notice what doesn't want you to feel the space. So hearing the birds. If you're lucky, you'll be hearing the drongo bird come through. He sounds like a burglar alarm. So with a mentoring session, after the session, this is what I do, is I make sure I try and write it out within 48 hours. Straight away if I can, but definitely within 48 hours. Now, the reason I say write it out or type it out is it activates the body. You're literally using your muscles, you're having to use your brain, you're having to move your fingers, be it typing or writing. So it takes it in at a cellular level. The other thing I do is I listen to it. Notice your hands again. Notice the space. I listen to it when I'm in transit. So I bike a lot. Or if I take a car or a tram or train, I listen to my session and I contemplate what it is, and I allow myself to receive the insights of my behavior patterns or what I can do. It's really important. So that's kind of passive, but at the same time you're processing and deepening, and through your actions you're showing how important it is. The other thing that'll happen too after a session, depending on what we cover, if it's just techniques or if I actually go in and take a look and we sense out what you need to look at and address for yourself. It's a slightly different version of the mentoring. That's under the unique methodology one, similar to my mentor. We work with belief systems and parts and things for you to look at. Now, you can contemplate these things lightly when you're doing activities and listening to the session and throughout your day. The way to make the real deep shifts, though, with these things is to do a formal inquiry process. So when I say to people, I'm going to meditate, what I'm actually doing is I am going into present. I'm sitting still. A formal meditation, literally. I sit still, go into presence. When my presence is there, it's nice, it's expanded, and I'm in the stillness. Although I'm always in the stillness, but deeper. I then listen to the aspects of the session and work with the parts, work with the behavior patterns, work with the belief systems, work with whatever was talked about, and I do the inquiry process. Now, depending on how full on that part is, or that aspect of my consciousness that I'm working with, depending on how sealed away it is from the main part of me. So you've got the main part of you here, your stillness, your essence, all your integrated, your consciousness, and you've got your unconscious stuff here. Depending on how separated or how strong this behavior is, this part of me, this thing we've discussed, depending on how strong that is, will depend on how quickly it shifts. Because you need to give it the stillness. Back to your hands, back to your pelvic floor, feeling the space. Like this, coming back all the time. Gives that the space to open up and come home. Now, some of these things can be knocked off in one session after I've processed it. some of this stuff still takes me weeks. So a half-hour meditation or an hour meditation may not knock off a major behaviour pattern. And the more time you spend on it, the more you unlock. You might also unlock associated stuff. This is where you get the real value. So if you put the time in the practice with your meditations, meditation/inquiry, you'll get heaps out of your session. So that's the formal practice. And if I have any questions around that, I'll write them down for my next mentoring session. Also, what I do is, if I'm working with this part, I see what else that opens up. What other parts are there? That's how you get real value out of what you're getting with your mentoring. Be it with this mentoring or your sports coach or your maths tutor or whatever. These guidelines apply to any guidance from someone who's further down the path of that knowledge or that process than you. You know, if you're playing golf, wouldn't it be awesome to have Tiger Woods teaching you how to play golf? How he thinks, what he does, how he prepares, what it is you need to do to improve your game. It's worth gold. So that's what this mentoring is about. Yep. That's how you make the most of it. And be committed. I've driven 500 k's just to go and see my mentor and then drive 500 k's back the next day. I have missed 3 sessions over 14 to 17 years. Due to my own fault, that is. So if you stick at it and put that in, you will get the rewards. So this is Jason. Make the most of it. Come home fast. Being aware of your hands, noticing where your pelvic floor is, where the space goes when you breathe in, where the space goes when you breathe out.